Now, the local market ending flat this afternoon with the rand making some strong gains against the US dollar. Market analyst Brian Thomas chats to us now. Brian, thanks very much for your time. I mean, it was a flat day on the market today, some stocks turning positive as we got to late afternoon. I'm wondering why the rand took such a turn for the better in the late hours. I mean, is that something got to do with the dollar? It was about a percentage point up.
Yeah, it was just a pretty strong turn for risk assets overall going into the close. Devin, I'm not exactly sure what drove it. You know, if I look at the US markets at the moment, they're looking slightly weak, or have opened slightly weak. But as you said, a strongish session for the rand back to sort of the 18 level, which is nice to see.
Yeah, and I see that the oil price continued to fall, and you know, that's been the case the entire week. You've got the rand where it is. Hopefully, if the oil price stays there, it might be some positive news, at least for the petrol price next month. So what's your take?
Yes, the oil price seems to be a bit weaker, mainly on, I guess, concerns in the US that the US economy is starting to slow. We've seen rates increase in the US over time, and that rate increasing environment is now starting to take effect. The economy is starting to slow, and people that are buying oil in the US, so the consumers of oil, it's feared that they're going to consume less as they move into their driving season in the summer. So that's caused a bit of a slowdown in the oil price. And you so rightly say, if you combine the oil price together with the stronger rand, it should be good for our own petrol price.
Yeah, I suppose it's a wait and see as we approach the end of the month because those figures change. All right, listen, so an update from Clicks today and what it was interim results. I mean, many people not too impressed with what's happening at Clicks. It's a strong share ordinarily. What do you make of what's happening with their consumer behavioral patterns there, what people are buying at the pharmacies? What's your take on Clicks?
Clicks is an incredible company. If you look at all of the different categories in which they operate, they've actually gained market share virtually across the board, whether it's dispensary, whether it's beauty, whether it's even the small electronic goods that they sell. They've actually gained market share. So they've actually had a pretty good set of numbers. Their retail sales grew 11% on the year, which if you strip out the vaccines that were in the base. And they managed to increase margins as the lower margin vaccines came out of the base. So it's a phenomenal business. It has just been reasonably expensive. And that's what's caused a bit of the derating in the share price over time, is that the share itself was a bit expensive and as a result has come off.
And then just finally, I mean, I've been watching this Robax, this construction group, the Robax share price, and I mean, really, investors have been liking what they're seeing with this company. They introduced an update, I think it was yesterday, but here's guys that have putting some work together for these border posts, for example, between South Africa and Zimbabwe. It's just encouraging to see, but my question is, does that mean that there's a lift in construction activity that we so desperately need in the country, or is these results and this good fortune just pointing to something else?
It's a combination, Devin. So Robax is up by, I just looked, it's up just under 18% in the last 5 days. So it's had a very good run. As you said, one of the biggest contributors to their profitability has been the border post conversion that they've done at Bike Bridge, which I guess for all of us who travel through that border post are very thankful to see that has happened. But they've also diversified their business. 20% of their business now comes from Australia, and I think the market quite likes that. And then further, they are one of the plays in the renewable energy sector. And it's encouraging to see that if you look at the registrations at NERSA so far this year, nearly 2.5 gigawatts of new power has been registered through NERSA this year. That's relative to 1.3 for the whole of last year. So we've had 2.5 already this year, 1.3 last year. These guys at Robax are partially beneficiaries of those bigger renewable power plants that are going to be put in place in South Africa over the course of the next year or so.
Yep, interesting share to watch. Well, thanks very much indeed, Brian Thomas there from Laurium Capital.